The bells of St. Michael's Chapel rang across the valley as Olivia Stone stood beneath an arch of white roses, her father's arm trembling slightly beneath her hand. Sunlight streamed through the stained glass windows, and every pew was filled. After 2 years together, she and Ethan Carter were finally getting married. Then the music stopped. The doors at the back of the chapel remained closed. At first, Olivia smiled nervously. Ethan was never late. But as the seconds stretched into minutes, whispers rippled through the guests. The best man hurried down the aisle, his face drained of color, and placed a folded note in her hand. "Liv, I'm sorry. I can't do this. You deserve better than the life I can give you. Please forgive me. Ethan." The world seemed to tilt beneath her feet. She somehow made it through the rest of the afternoon, thanking guests she barely saw and comforting relatives who tried to comfort her. By nightfall, the wedding flowers had wilted, and the dream she had carried for years was gone. A week later, Olivia packed her belongings and drove west to Colorado. She had once postponed her dream of joining a mountain rescue team to stay close to Ethan. Now, with nothing left to lose, she enrolled in an intensive wilderness search and rescue program. The training was relentless. She learned to climb frozen cliffs before dawn, navigate whiteouts with only a compass, and treat injuries with numb fingers in sub-zero temperatures. Many trainees quit. Olivia stayed. Every challenge she overcame reminded her that her future did not depend on a wedding ring. Months passed. The heartbreak slowly gave way to purpose. By the following winter, Olivia had earned her place on one of the state's most respected rescue teams. She had become calm under pressure, fearless in a storm, and proud of the life she had built with her own hands. One January evening, as heavy snow swept across the Rockies, the emergency radio crackled to life. "A solo hiker is missing near Eagle Pass. Conditions are deteriorating fast." Olivia and her team launched immediately. Hours later, her headlamp caught the flash of a red jacket beneath an icy ledge. She dropped to her knees beside the unconscious man and brushed the snow from his face. Her breath caught. It was Ethan. The man who had left her at the altar exactly 1 year earlier. As the wind howled around them, Olivia checked his pulse and signaled for evacuation. Ethan's eyes fluttered open for a moment. Through the blur of snow and pain, he recognized her. "Olivia," he whispered. She tightened the straps on the rescue sled. "You're safe now," she said evenly. But as the helicopter lifted into the stormy night, Olivia knew the real reckoning had only just begun. The funeral was held 3 days later beneath a gray Colorado sky. Ethan stood beside his mother at the front of the chapel, receiving condolences with the same quiet composure he had worn since the call from the hospital. Olivia sat in the last pew, uncertain why she had come. Perhaps it was out of respect for the man who had once welcomed her into the Carter family. Perhaps it was because grief, unlike love, did not disappear simply because trust had been broken. After the service, Ethan found her outside. "You didn't have to come," he said softly. "I know," Olivia replied. "But your father was kind to me. I wanted to say goodbye." For the first time since the rescue, Ethan smiled. It was faint, but genuine. A week later, he invited her to the reading of the will. Olivia almost declined, yet curiosity, and a lingering sense that there was more to the story, persuaded her to attend. The attorney unfolded a letter written in Ethan's father's hand. "To my son, if you are hearing this, I am gone. Do not spend your life trying to protect the people you love by shutting them out. Let them choose to stand beside you. And if Olivia is willing, tell her the truth I should have insisted you share a year ago. Ethan lowered his eyes. Olivia felt the weight of the words settle between them. Then the attorney produced a sealed envelope addressed to Olivia herself. Inside was a deed to a small lakeside cabin in the mountains. He wanted you to have it, the attorney explained. He said it was where you and Ethan were happiest. Olivia looked at Ethan. He was as surprised as she was. As they stepped outside, snow began to fall gently around them. I can't change what I did, Ethan said. But I'd like the chance to be honest with you from now on. Olivia glanced toward the distant peaks. The pain of the past had not vanished, yet for the first time, she sensed that forgiveness might one day be possible. Before she could answer, Ethan's phone buzzed. He frowned at the message. What is it? She asked. He looked up, troubled. It's from the company's chief accountant, he said. Several $1 million are missing from the business accounts. And suddenly, the future they had just begun to face together grew far more complicated. The next morning, Ethan and Olivia drove to the company headquarters in Denver. The atmosphere inside was tense. Employees whispered in the hallways, and the chief accountant, Margaret Hayes, looked relieved to see them. It's worse than we thought, she said, leading them into the conference room. Over the past year, funds have been transferred through a series of shell companies. Someone knew exactly how to hide the trail. Ethan frowned. Who had access? Only a handful of senior executives, Margaret replied. And one of them resigned the day after your father died. Olivia exchanged a glance with Ethan. The timing was too perfect to be a coincidence. That afternoon, they drove to the lakeside cabin that Ethan's father had left to Olivia. Inside, they found the place exactly as they remembered it, the stone fireplace, the old canoe by the dock, and a cedar chest beneath the stairs. Inside the chest lay a leather journal belonging to Ethan's father. Its final pages described his growing suspicions that someone within the company was stealing from the business. He had gathered evidence and hidden copies of key documents in a safe deposit box, the number of which was carefully written on the last page. Olivia looked up from the journal. Your father knew, she whispered. Ethan nodded slowly. And he was trying to protect the company. As dusk settled over the lake, headlights appeared outside the cabin. A dark SUV rolled to a stop at the edge of the driveway. Two figures stepped out. One of them was the executive who had resigned. The other was carrying a metal canister. Olivia's heart pounded. Whatever secret Ethan's father had uncovered, someone was willing to do anything to keep it buried. Olivia switched off the cabin lights, and the room fell into darkness. Outside, the two men moved cautiously toward the porch. Ethan recognized the taller of the pair immediately. Greg Mercer, he whispered. My father's former COO. The man with the canister unscrewed the cap. The sharp smell of gasoline drifted through the cold night air. They're going to burn the cabin, Olivia said. She quietly dialed 911 while Ethan slipped out the back door and circled toward the boathouse. The moment Greg struck a match, floodlights blazed across the property. Ethan had thrown the main switch, illuminating the entire shoreline. Police are on their way, Olivia shouted. The accomplice fled toward the SUV, but Greg hesitated. In that instant, Ethan stepped onto the porch, holding his father's journal aloft. It's over, Greg, he said. We know about the theft. Sirens echoed through the trees. Greg's shoulders slumped. He dropped the matchbook to the ground. Within minutes, deputies arrived and placed both men under arrest. In the SUV they found forged documents, cash, and plans to empty the company's remaining accounts before fleeing the country. As the flashing lights reflected off the frozen lake, Olivia looked at Ethan. A year ago, he had run from fear and responsibility. Tonight, he had faced both. But one final choice remained for each of them. Spring arrived early in the Rockies. With Greg Mercer's arrest, the missing funds were recovered, and Ethan's company began to rebuild. The scandal that had threatened to destroy his father's legacy instead revealed the integrity with which he had run the business. Ethan established a scholarship in his father's name for young people pursuing careers in emergency medicine and search and rescue. One bright April morning, Ethan invited Olivia to the lakeside cabin. The snow had melted, and the water shimmered beneath the sun. "I spent a year wishing I could undo the past," he said. "I can't. But I can promise you this, I will never hide the truth from you again." Olivia smiled gently. "The mountains taught me something," she replied. "Life doesn't give us second chances so we can relive the past. It gives them to us so we can build something better." They stood together in silence, watching a rescue helicopter pass overhead. The future was uncertain, but for the first time, neither of them feared it. Months later, Olivia and Ethan co-hosted the first annual Carter Rescue Summit at the cabin, bringing together rescuers, physicians, and volunteers from across the country. The place that had once held memories of heartbreak became a symbol of hope. As the sun set over the lake, Ethan reached for Olivia's hand. This time, she took it, not because of who they had been, but because of who they had become. And beneath the golden evening sky, they stepped forward into a future built not on promises made in a chapel, but on trust earned through courage, honesty, and grace. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new emotional drama story. Share this video with your friends and let us know in the comments, what would you have done if you were Olivia? Until next time, stay kind, stay strong, and thank you for being part of our community here at Novelithra.